All right, Sistas fans, or Zatima fans, but technically we're talking about the stabbing, so I believe this is more Sistas affiliated. During the live stream I did last night here on the channel, we were kind of grasping at straws. Some people were asking, like, so who do you think stabbed Gary? I don't know. At this point, this is. Can we talk about how the stabbing? All right, this was what? The ending of season 7, the final scene of season 7. Then we get to episodes 1 and 2 of season 8. This is a topic that's only been relevant for about, technically, not even 3 full episodes. I mean, unless you want to count the finale where the entire episode was about who's going to get Gary, because I believe the title was called Had It Coming. But regardless, I'm sick of talking about who stabbed Gary. Almost to the same level of the who's the baby daddy of Karen's child. This is before the twins thing. But I feel like I've talked the topic to death. No pun intended. But there was an interesting point made that I don't know if the person was being serious or not, but they said, what if Bryce did it? And I'm like, wait, what? What if Bryce was the one that stabbed Gary? And I'm like, okay, it's very unlikely, because I don't think they're going to tie Zatima and Sistas together just yet. But I do know that Bryce was mentioned, I think in season 6, I believe it was after the salon fire, Zach mentioned that he and Bryce had just come back from a property and things were looking good. So Bryce does exist in the continuity. But it would be an interesting angle if Bryce did stab Gary and it tied back into what occurred during the season 2 finale of Zatima, in that Bryce went to Gary to be like the third partner to put in the money to get the location, the property that he was, him and Valerie were trying to get Zach to invest in, even though he said he didn't have the money to do so. And as a result of that, Gary was brought in to make up the difference, but at the 11th hour, he just opted not to do it. And then that in turn screwed over Bryce and Zach financially. And we saw the descent into madness that Bryce was going into over the course of a few episodes of him being, in the red, Zach being in the red, Zach being rightfully pissed off at him. And everywhere he turned, he was getting, basically no assistance, or at least not the assistance he wanted. And as a result, that led to the whole thing where he crashed his car into the other vehicle. But one must wonder, during that time where Bryce was just running around trying to figure out what to do, did he go over to the wedding chapel? I don't think so, because that doesn't make sense. I mean, then again, when you look at both of these shows in terms of the structure of their continuity, Tyler could do whatever he wants. If he wants it where Bryce was the one to do it, it would actually make sense. But then you look at the thing about Zach in season 7, 8 being a stay-at-home dad. It's like, you're a stay-at-home dad, but don't you still work with Bryce at Rise Ventures? Or are you just working from home? Or did you two have an official falling out and you're doing your own kind of form of income as opposed to working with Bryce? So I'm really confused about that direction they're taking with Zach, because in Sistas, he's still trying to get that, apparently sizable chunk of money back from Gary that he invested in the hedge fund company, because I mean, apparently he put in a good amount the way he's fighting for it back. But let's be real here, even if a company stiffs you for like $40 by charging you for something that you didn't buy, or let's say, or for example, when I moved, HughesNet, they tried to screw me over by charging my card for an extra month after I already terminated my service at my parents' house, and I got a new provider instead. And I was mad about that. So, and that was only like $100 and something bucks, but I understand Zach's pain here. So if Bryce stabbed Gary in a rageful bit of revenge because Gary screwed him and Zach over, I could see that. Again, I don't think it's very likely, but it would be an interesting twist. Especially with us all talking about how Fatima's pregnancy could be the key of tying both shows together, but in fact, it could be the stabbing that does so as well. So let me know your thoughts on the potential of Bryce being the person to stab Gary. Just like everyone on the murder suspect list or attempted murder suspect board, Bryce had a motive. So let's talk about it in the comments, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.